salute. Knicks streets are buzzing after the New York Knicks picked up their 43rd win on the season. Let's talk about it. Salute out here tonight. How's everybody feeling? Great to rock out. Talk Knicks. Talk the big performance from Emmanuel Quickley putting up his career high, and the Knicks finally ended their skid and got the 43rd win on the season. Hot on this 5th seed, ready to lock it down tomorrow night versus the Heat, who are resting Jimmy Butler tonight as they face the Toronto Raptors. That and more, we'll talk about it. Salute to the best chat in the biz. Knicks Nation, how's everyone feeling? And yeah, great performance from the team last night. But Emmanuel Quickley, shout out. Amazing performance. Great to see that young kid, just put his name out there now, filling in for Jalen Brunson, moving into the lead for Sixth Man of the Year on a lot of betting outlets out here. Big task, salute, let's go. Shah says, who do they play tomorrow? Oh, that's it. They're going to know. Like JJ's on point. Yet resting Jimmy Butler, we know what tomorrow really means for the Knicks and for the Heat and for this Eastern Conference standings. It's going to come down to it. The New York Knicks can basically go 3.5 games over the Heat. Well, it depends on tonight's result. Obviously, if the Heat beat the Raptors, they'll go back within 2 games. And then if the Knicks beat the Heat tomorrow, they go a full 3 games ahead on the Heat, which would be huge. But, tonight's not going to be easy for the Heat. Down 7 early in the third. Great update, and we'll follow it all show as we talk about the big win last night. Really liked the defensive performance in the second half. The team came out pretty slow in the first half, obviously, but it was the New York Knicks that did run away with it the second half. It was a great defensive performance from Mitchell Robinson. A couple of possessions with multiple blocks. RJ Barrett was efficient, 6 of 12, which was amazing to see. Bully Barrett. And I'll pull up the shot chart. So we'll look at Emmanuel Quickley, and I want to focus on RJ Barrett's shot chart from last night. We'll bring that up. But yeah, for the Knicks to win points in the paint, they won the fast break points last night, 18-16, and had less turnovers, just 10 turnovers as well. Took care of the rock. It was a feel-good victory. Obi Toppin was nice off the bench, and of course, yeah, Julius Randle. Solid. Randle was 10 of 19 for his 26 points plus 11, but it really wasn't much competition. New York Knicks 36 points in the first quarter, 30 in the second, 36 and then 35. So that was huge. To finally, get this thing corrected, there was a big break. There was 3 losses in a row, which left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouth. We've been wanting to finish this season off on a real high note, and now's the time. Now's the absolute time to make things happen. And yet, like Big Tar says, a nice feel-good win will help that. But the way it happened was just sensational. Salute Will for Quickley to now show that, whether Brunson's out or not, the fact that he can step in and put his name out there for what he did. We all know CBS once labeled the pick a D+, but what was once a D+, which was never really a D+, is now become an A+++ home run. Hit it out of the park in terms of that situation. There is no other way to talk about it, because yeah, Emmanuel Quickley, the New York Knicks hit on that draft pick, and some teams could have had him, you know, hypothetically could have had him for a first round selection. Let that sink in. Just was it a month ago, and now things have changed drastically, where the New York Knicks now all look set to keep Quickley. They look set to pay him and keep him around, and as they should, because he was loose last night. He was getting anywhere on the floor that he wanted to get to. He was efficient as well. 9 assists, stand up. It was amazing. 6 assists, 9 assists, 1 steal, a block, just 1 turnover, a plus 18 for 40 big points. Amazing. Full of confidence, and 14 of 18 from the field, 5 of 7 from deep, and a 7 of 9. Got to the line 9 times. He was causing all sorts of headaches for Jalen Green, and no one could contain him as well. Like, he's always been that scorer, that scorer's mentality, full of confidence. And when Quickley plays his natural game, yeah, it's scary hour. Where he can do whatever he wants on that court, and especially when the shots fall and the floater game, all of that beautiful stuff. As I pull up a shot chart from Emmanuel Quickley last night, not many misses. You love to see it. Definitely love to see a shot chart like this, but a couple of deep balls, a couple of deep twos, but look at all the makes, all over the court, getting into the paint. A lot of those were beating his man dribble penetration. A lot of them were getting around the pick and then surveying the D, making sure that his defender's on his hip and getting that foul call, and closing out hard as well. Dribble drive. And then the ones on the elbow, the deep threes, that does seem to be a nice comfort spot from Quickley. And we've seen a bit of Quickley play with Brunson, and I can't wait for Brunson to get back. And, that is probably my guess. That's going to be a lot of the closing lineups in the playoffs that we're probably going to see with Tom Thibodeau, his affinity for IQ. He loves Josh Hart. And of course, Jalen Brunson's going to be that guy. But it's going to be great. JJ says Quickley was incredible, man. And my guy Grimes caught fire in the second half, filled that stat sheet with 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals, which was just a great feel-good win. JJ. Now, it was against the Rockets, so we love to see these performances on the regular, but against tougher opposition, it's going to be less common, less frequent. But this is the kind of feel-good win that you need to get in that rhythm, heading into the playoffs soon, and these players need to start feeling good. It's all about vibes, mentality, and seeing that shot fall, feeling loose, feeling good about it as well. And it does look like Jalen Brunson was just rested last night for precautions, which was the case. So I feel like it was a great opportunity. It proved to be a stroke of genius to allow Quickley to put in this performance and get that shine right now. And yet, like JJ said, we've got to give some love to Q Dot as well. He was 4 of 9 from deep with his 9 rebounds, exceptional, and his 6 assists and his 2 steals. Quentin Grimes' 3-point ball now starting to fall, heading into the playoffs is going to be big. And make no mistake, we do need to pull out a couple of big key wins coming down this stretch of the season. It's going to be huge for us to get this 5th spot, and it's looking more likely as the NBA action is continuing right now. We have the Toronto Raptors up 19 now at the end of the third. 65 Miami to 84 Toronto. So Jimmy Butler is resting. If the Heat, which looks like they will pick up that L, the New York Knicks can make that huge statement tomorrow. We'll be live post game, and if the Knicks can pick up that big win at the MSG, and they will go 3.5 games now ahead of the Heat. So it is right now it is a 2-game lead on the Heat. So it'll go to 2.5 after tonight's Heat loss. And then with the Knicks win, it'll be a 1 full game swing. So the Knicks can go 3.5 games ahead of the Heat, basically in all but secure that playoff spot, even if it's the 6th. It's that basically with 6 to play, or 5 to play after tomorrow night's game, 3.5 game lead with 5 to play. That's going to be a playoff spot, basically reassured. All but assured on that situation, so that's key, and they know it. They're resting Jimmy Butler tonight, so let's get it. Let's pick up that big win. Salute Jarvis. Wizards beating the Celts, 119 to 103. You're going to see some of these crazy results late in the season. Also, Cleveland is currently down against Atlanta by 2 points, with 4 to play in the third. So Cleveland are trying to catch Philly. They're only a game and a half back of the third spot. So that bears watching as well, ladies and gentlemen. It may not be a given that the New York Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers are on course to play each other in the first round. It certainly could be a case of Philadelphia maybe wanting to avoid the Miami Heat and maybe want to play the New York Knicks. But that's a situation where now the Cavs are down 5, so that's going to be tough. But they're still in striking range. But for the Heat, to be down now, they are down by 18 or 17 at the end of the third. That looks like a L. Grimes is shooting great recently, 45% from the field over and 37 from 3. Yeah, great stats. Yeah, excellent. I like that. Also, I will bring up the next shot chart from last night's performance. If you can guess who this person might be, for the first person in the chat that can guess this shot chart, he's a much maligned young New York Knicks player. But what stands out to me about this shot chart is getting better looks, getting good looks at the rim, and limiting deep shots. This person's been struggling shooting from deep. This season they've definitely been struggling shooting, and it's great to see. I want to see RJ Barrett. I want to see shot charts like this from RJ a lot more, because when the shot's not falling, right? RJ was 6 of 12 last night, but look at all those shots at the rim, inside the restricted area, not even inside the paint, restricted area. And 1 of 2 from deep, pretty solid, but limiting those deeper shots, from Barrett. 1 of 3 from deep, 6 of 12. Got to the line 9 times, hit 6 of those. 5 assists from Barrett. I really enjoyed seeing 5 assists from Barrett. 3 rebounds, a steal, no fouls, plus 17, 19 points in 29 minutes. So it was a sneaky good performance from RJ. His numbers did the talking last night, and you want to see efficiency. That's why we're able to blow them out. With Brunson also out. We all want to see Grimes' all-round game develop more too, and he's getting more looks as well, more attempts, which is key. With Quentin Grimes getting 12 attempts last night, that's kind of where I would like to continue to see that continue on his usage. Obviously, when Brunson's out, though, when he's back, you would maybe expect Grimes' usage to drop a little bit. Exactly, Jarvis. Yep, 100%, 100%. More touches for Grimes, less for RJ. It all depends on the looks RJ's getting. But yeah, when he's in that groove and he's getting to the cup like this, then that's just beautiful to see. But in terms of Emmanuel, he's that ready-made starter on this squad, and he is leading the Six Man of the Year candidate now, and he's much deserved. He really should be winning, clearly leading, I think, over Brogdon right now. He really should be, because I don't see Malcolm Brogdon really stepping in when needed as a starter, putting up numbers like 40 points, 9 assists, those kinds of things for a 23-year-old on the come up, ready to get his first big payday contract is a reflection of where he's at right now. Respect all around the league, respect from Damian Lillard, and respect from his colleagues, his teammates, his coaches. He paid props to Johnny Bryant for some help, some development. We even saw a cheeky a tweet from Mark Berman earlier today saying that Tom Thibodeau may have been forgotten about in terms of him potentially having a input in Quickley's development. He feels like maybe Tom Thibodeau not giving Quickley the keys straight away has also allowed him to just come along at his own speed, come along at his own pace. We all know how frustrating it was having Alec Burks, seeing him run the point last year when it didn't make no sense. But now things make more sense. Emmanuel Quickley's arrived. Yeah, I'm pulling for it, Jarvis. IQ to win that 6-man. I think the numbers are quite even, but I think Emmanuel Quickley's kind of slowly starting to pull away later in the season with bigger usage. Jarvis, yep, you're watching that Dallas selection. We're watching it really close. I got a point to make on that as well, but great timing. Jarvis says if the playoffs started today, Knicks would have the Dallas pick, possibly at 11. Now, it was absolutely a stroke of luck that Luka Doncic's technical foul was 16th technical was rescinded, so that Luka was able to play last night, and they were able to defeat the tanking the Pacers. So what that has brought up a situation for us now, ladies and gentlemen, as I'll pull this one up on the screen with the Mavericks pick, is that, yeah, it is in the 11th slot right now, but the Knicks, for us to keep this pick, it's really going to go either way. I think I could see the Mavs winning 1 to 2 to 3 more games. Any more than that would surprise me. So if you see there now on the screen, they're all bunched up with the Lakers on 37 wins at 38 losses. The Oklahoma City 38 losses, 37 wins. The Dallas obviously have the 39th loss. So they're going to have to win a couple more games for any chance for the New York Knicks to be able to keep that pick. And of course, they're going to play some tough games out west. They play the Hawks again. They play the Spurs, though. They play Philly. But it's all about Luka and Kyrie, picking up some of these wins and pushing for it. I can't see Dallas, trying to tank. I really think, even though they know they could get the pick back, I think with Luka, with Kyrie, it's all about them just trying to go all in and get that play-in spot. we also need to clarify for anyone that's unsure, if the Knicks don't get this pick this year, if it does stay with Dallas, all that means is the New York Knicks in 2024, next year, will have the chance to get the pick again. It'll be the same deal, the top 10 protection next year with Dallas. So the Knicks could still get that first round pick, but next year. Now, if it doesn't convert next year, it goes the same deal, 2025, top 10 protected as well. If it doesn't convey in 2025 as a first round pick, top 10 protected, it becomes a few second round picks, I believe. So the Knicks still have 2 more years in order to get this pick back. Yeah. Salute Philip, how we doing? Great to see you. Hope everything's going well, and we're ready for this for the playoffs now. And can the Knicks clinch this 5th spot? Tomorrow night is going to be a big reason for us clinching that 5th spot. And Jimmy Butler is resting tonight. Like you said, Heat down 16 in the 4th, go Raps. Yep, absolutely. The Knicks will go 2.5 games above the Heat tonight, just with that loss alone to the Heat. And tomorrow night, if the Knicks can defeat the Heat, they go 3.5 games up on the Heat with 5 to play. So that'll be basically reassuring the Knicks a playoff spot. It'll basically be between us and the Nets as to who can get that 5th and 6th spots. But it'll be great to be that team that pushes the Heat down to the play-in, which will be big. I'm a bit worried that Brogdon will still get it, but I think maybe Quickley's late surge will help him steal the award late. But yeah, Brogdon's been very, very efficient. His numbers have been pretty crazy playing on that huge team. I really hope Jalen Brunson is all good as well. We saw his hand in that brace, whatever it was, the guard. It does look like it was just precautionary, and I do think against the Rockets, it's probably the perfect opportunity to just give him another game off and wait for that thing to be 110%, and because it's going to be a battle, fighting against the Heat and some of these other games, the Heat, the Cavs, and the other teams coming up. Now it's time to look at it. We see the Heat, then we play the Cavs away, then we have the Wizards at home, the Pacers and the Pels away, and then we have the Pacers back at home to finish this season out. At least 3, 4, 5 more wins, maybe. We could finish with 46, 47, 48. I think it'd be a great finish to the season, lock up that playoff spot. David Salute says 43. Got you really happy with that so far. Yeah, it was timely that we played the Rockets, and I'm not going to lie, it might have played some guys into form with RJ, with Grimes, with Quick, with Mitch, even Randle. Randle was a very, very solid hit out last night. Unfortunately, we can't count out Brooklyn. I agree. Absolutely. Just 2 games back, and they have the easiest schedule remaining in the league. But they do have a lot of role players, so that each game's not going to be easy. It's going to be tough out here, but the New York Knicks' destiny is in their hands. Philip says, I'm going to say it, if the Heat do lose tonight, maybe start IQ, rest Brunson for another one. I think, yeah, it depends how Brunson's feeling and how only they know, I guess, how tricky that injury is, how serious it's looking right now. But let me tell you, tomorrow night's game is the most important regular season game left for the entire season. So I'd prefer not to take any chances. If Brunson's healthy, he's got to get out there. He's got to play. But I like your feeling in terms of trying to protect Brunson as well. because I know how important he is. Yeah, he's not human. He'll heal like magic. Yeah. Um, it does look like it's just precautionary, so I really do think that it's going to be a situation where when he does come back, it's going to look like he's just not missed a beat and ready to go. But yeah, salute everyone that's in the building that's come through. Knicks Nation, we out here trying to solidify this playoff spot. And looks like we're going to play the Cavs or Philly, most likely, with this situation. But last night's performances, again, I really stress I liked RJ Barrett's 6 of 12. Look at all those looks in this shot chart from RJ in the paint and limiting those deep shots as well. Emmanuel Quickley shot chart, spraying it all over the floor, getting in the paint, shooting it from the elbow from deep as well. Only 4 misses, just a career night, and in a young man's career, which is only 23 years of age right now in the Sixth Man of the Year award race. Emmanuel Quickley has arrived right now. He is that guy right now. And he is that guy that deserves all the shine and more. And I think, yeah, what was once disrespected as the pick, the Knicks were given shade right now. It's a home run, A++ home run. And he's going to get paid. The New York Knicks need to lock him up and keep him as part of their core, their big future, bright future. Because when Brunson's injured or, he might start to need to rest some games next season, we might not need to start Jalen Brunson 82 next season, maybe he can only play 65, 70. You got IQ Emmanuel ready to step up. So salute. Johnny's in the house, salute. Knicks will be up for it. Brunson will be fine, and our guys should be ready to carry this load. Yep. Hopefully he's back, at least 4 to 5 games back with the regular season, so that heading into the playoffs, he's fine-tuned, I would say. Those are the words I would describe it. Heading into the playoffs, it's a whole different animal. To be finely tuned is ready to dominate. JJ says, not sure the Cavs would be the perfect matchup for us with them having the 2 big trees down low, Mobley and Allen. And it's going to be tough beating them in the paint. You're going to have to hit threes, and we can struggle from there and go, yeah, we could go icy cold, up and down kind of thing. And I think you were mentioning earlier, JJ, in terms of their defense. I think maybe I've underrated their defense. I thought their perimeter defense ain't so strong. I think their paint defense is strong, but I think the way we've fared against Cleveland over the regular season, that gives me some optimism. That gives me optimism that it's, I'm not going to say it's a favorable matchup, but out of the top 4 teams in the league in the East, it is one of the more favorable matchups that the Knicks could get. Of course, nothing's going to be easy, but I do think the Knicks' best chance at getting to the second round is against Cleveland. Maybe Philadelphia, but Philly or Cleveland, definitely. And then we see what awaits after that. We've picked up our 53rd win, 43rd win of the season on the back of this 137-115 route. Now, great performance from Obi, efficient, Hartenstein, Mitchell Robinson. We'll go through the numbers. We'll give out some grades. We'll continue to talk about the big game tomorrow. And the score tonight is looking like the Miami Heat 78, Raptors 95 with 4 minutes to play. So Miami's going to take that L most likely. Cleveland's down 89-98, down by 9 to the Hawks with 10 minutes to play. So some action tonight that could play a factor, but with Jimmy Butler resting tonight, looks like the Heat are ready to go. They're going to go to battle tomorrow night, and the Knicks will be ready for that onslaught. And after picking up that 43rd win, it relieves the pressure, I would say, because we look at these games remaining. As I pull up the road head on screen, the Heat, and then just 5 more after that. The Cavs, Wiz, Pacers, Pels, and then the Pacers once again at home. Let's close this thing out strong. And you see how many games before tonight's game on the standings. The Knicks hold the 2-game lead, obviously on the Brooklyn Nets and the Heat. Tonight it'll go a 2.5-game lead on these Heat after they lose, and then a big win tomorrow night would make it a 3.5-game lead on the Heat for that final playoff spot, the 6th one. Of course, the 5th spot looks more likely if the Knicks can just stand their ground and let's say we beat the Heat, and we beat one of the Pacer games, and then we beat the Wizards and the Pelicans. That's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. It's a 5th spot and like 47 wins. On the season. And some people won't necessarily say it's a success for the season yet. The playoffs will be what determines what people think about this season, no doubt. But in terms of regular season, absolute success, no doubt about it. JT, salute. Yeah, let's pull off this big one at the MSG. The thing is, I haven't forgot about the last Heat matchup at Miami, because that was tough. The referees were really, really into it in that game. Missing out on that 5-second count. The offensive foul on Hartenstein late was a bit dodgy. The call against Mitch, the offensive foul there, was dodgy as well. So finally we get this thing back to MSG and we play the Heat, right? Jimmy Butler knows all about it. Like he was taking tonight off to get ready for tomorrow, right? And probably in an arrogant way, the Heat probably thought they could win tonight against the Raptors without Jimmy Butler, and it may have backfired on them because they're down 12 with 3:56 to play. So they're making a small comeback, down 12 with 3:56 to play in the 4th. So still looks like they're going to go down, and that may have backfired on the Heat. I'm here for it. And Atlanta's up by 10 on the Cavs as well. So the Hawks are still trying to push for that upper play-in spot, trying to get that 7th spot, perhaps 8th spot, to get that home court, maybe in the play-in, is going to be key. It's going to be insane, this finish to the season in the East. Great point too, JJ. The Pacers, they were resting Halliburton and a few dudes last night, and the New York Knicks for these 2 games looks like they might, like I predicted also a few shows ago, looks like we might be seeing the worst version of the Indiana Pacers for those 2. I mean, it only makes sense, right? When you're that close to finishing the season out with just 3 games remaining and you're working on the tank standings, Indiana are currently in the 7th tank spot. So they don't want to risk any of that, to finish this season. Philip asks, what do you think about IQ starting at the 2 guard next year? I think that would be best. That's a good question, and definitely something worth considering. I mean, the way the man's playing. Obviously, we've got to address that it's undersized. Jalen Brunson and IQ, height size wise would be very, very undersized, but IQ's perimeter defense is very strong. Maybe not as strong as Quentin Grimes, but it's worth a look for different parts of the game, throughout the game, closing the game, all of that stuff. I'm on board. I'm okay with that. Absolutely. I don't think you're gonna get too much of a disadvantage on the defensive side, and offensively, it's gonna be amazing. Cavs losing is awesome, like always. Yep. Yep. We love seeing these late losses from some of these winning teams. Um, but in terms of guys that are heading into the playoffs, it's going to be about shot making. It's really going to be about guys being efficient and being able to cope with extra pressure, uh, contact, physicality, and scheming. It does look like the Knicks will clinch that playoff spot, and you know what that means. It means the same opponent for a 7-game series. They've obviously been scouting the Knicks already. We had verification that the Cavs scouts have been watching the Knicks, and the Knicks scouts have been watching the Cavs already. So that's out there now, and I do think that the Knicks would well be aware of what the scenarios are and all of that situation. With these 6 to play. But you guys tell me how you're feeling. Do you think 5th, 6th? What do you think is most likely? 47 wins, I think sounds about right. We are 43. 4 more maybe out of these last 6 can get it done. Yep, absolutely right. This is what we live for with the playoffs, the playoff battles coming in. Yet, like Philip follows up with as well, I agree 100%. Philip, the way we close games out really is how it looks like it is right now with Quickley and Hart and Brunson. So there's no reason they couldn't start with that as well. Yep. And given what Emmanuel's doing and what he's showing, he's Quentin Grimes could become a better offensive player. I think he could still be over Quickley, but I think right now Emmanuel Quickley is a better offensive player. Maybe even the better two-way player altogether. I would say he's more consistent than Grimes is right now. When Grimes has those big games, he fills the stat sheet, but Emmanuel Quickley's doing it more now regularly, which is big. The other thing we're keeping an eye on as well, Nick Streets, ladies and gents, is the Dallas tank watch. And for Luka, for the Knicks to keep this pick this year, Luka and Kyrie must win a few more games, at least 2, hopefully 3 more as well, because there you see they are right now on the border of that pick, going back to them in the 10th spot. They have 1 more win than the Bulls, who have 36 wins, but unfortunately Dallas have 1 more loss than the Lakers, OKC, and the Raps right now. And OKC Thunder are 9 points up on the Hornets right now with 5 to play in the third. And of course, New Orleans play Golden State tonight as well. And of course, the Toronto Raptors are up 13 over the Heat with 1 minute to play. So it looks like the Raps are going to get that 38th victory and remain on 38 losses for the season. So yeah, the Dallas Mavericks definitely need to pick things up and have that situation where Luka and Kyrie can both play and be healthy and finish games out is going to be critical. I'm going to pull up the remaining games for the Mavs right now. They play the Sixers tomorrow. They play the Heat on Saturday. Then they play the Hawks next week, on Sunday. Then they play the Kings, the Bulls, and they finish with the Spurs. So realistically, I think the Mavericks can beat the Hawks. Don't think they can beat Philly. They might be able to beat the Heat if Luka, Kyrie are healthy. I don't think they can beat the Kings. They can beat the Bulls and they can beat the Spurs. So is 3 more wins going to be enough? I think that has to be. Like, they have to win at least 2, 3 more um, to have any chance, because the Bulls have an easier schedule. Let's pull up the Bulls. The Bulls play the Lakers tomorrow. They play the Hornets, the Grizz, the Hawks, the Bucks, the Mavs, of course, which is going to be big because one of those teams is going to have to take that L. And then the Bulls finish with the Pistons. So I can definitely say that the Bulls are going to win 3 more games. Is it up to the Mavericks to be able to win 3 more games? And the game where the Mavericks and the Bulls play each other is going to be huge. I think that might decide who ends up in the 10th or that 11th slot right now. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's how close it's going to come down to. You know, of course, maybe the Lakers might hit a roadblock, but I think they're going to start winning some more games. Assuming we play Cavs, Randle has to be prepared for the big boys. Yep, they're going to be super physical with him. Yeah, great point, Philip. I think RJ Barrett is going to be a huge X factor in this playoff series. Quentin Grimes, a guy's player movement, ball movement, ability to cut, hit deep shots, be efficient, all of those things is going to be key. I don't think it's unfair to think that Randle and Brunson is just going to be enough to carry us to a first round victory in 7 games. I think a lot of these games are going to have to be won with other guys stepping up. And that's whether it's Mitch on the defensive end or Quickley having an explosion like he did last night, whether it's RJ Barrett having a 30-point game, Quentin Grimes having a 20-point game. It's going to be key for the Knicks to win 4 out of 7 against the top 4 team in the East. There's a lot more to it. And I think even if Brunson and Randle technically have perfect games, which is not going to happen, we know that's not going to happen, especially when dudes can scheme for your best guys, get the ball out of their hands, and that, it's going to be big for the rest of the guys to step up. Yeah, can't wait. Big Task says, for the Knicks to clinch 5th, the Cavs are scared, and then their worst nightmare facing these Knicks will come true. Regular season record will give the Knicks confidence. Best believe that. The Wizards pick also carries over next year with less protections as well. So yeah, it now looks like the Knicks won't get the Wizards pick this year. They would have to make the top 8, the playoffs, for that to happen. So it's going to move ahead, which is fine. You know, we don't need so many picks this year. I would love to have at least that one, the Dallas one. That's where it's at. I would love to keep that. Obviously, a big strength of this team, like I said, the bench, the consistency. Josh Hart has had a couple of down games, but you know he's going to bring it. He's that kind of guy. He's going to step up in the playoffs and go to that next level. Yeah, I think Emmanuel Quickley is going to be too. You know, in the playoffs, he's had a taste 2 years ago. I think Emmanuel Quickley is going to be ready. It's going to be up to Deuce McBride, Obi, Hartenstein. Those guys are going to be a bit more of that, hit and miss, throughout the playoffs. Maybe they surprise me I think Obi had a few really good games against the Hawks 2 years ago. So he's full of confidence. In the playoffs, though, it's a whole different thing. So let's see. Um, but it's all done and dusted for tonight. With the Miami Heat losing, the Knicks now go 2.5 up on the Heat, who are in seventh, and they're going to struggle now. They're facing an uphill climb, fam, to get into that uh, guaranteed playoff spot. They go down 92 to 106 to the Toronto Raptors as well. So that hurts the Dallas tank as well, with Toronto picking up that dub now. So that's just another reason why if the Knicks get Dallas's pick, it's going to be an even better pick. It's only going to be either 11, 12, 13 prior to the lottery. Of course, when the lottery happens, it might even, jump up and we miss out. But in terms of where it ends at the regular season point, it's going to be 11, 12, 13, I think, now with Toronto picking up their 38th victory. So, yeah, great result for the Knicks tonight. Jimmy Butler rested. He's probably banged up. It was probably legit, but maybe there was that little bit of arrogance where they thought, we could beat the Raptors tonight. Let's rest Jimmy for tomorrow. And now they've got bigger things to worry about. They've got to worry about tomorrow and the New York Knicks down at MSG. Yeah, it's going to be popping. It's going to be buzzing. Like Jarvis says, smashing that like button for the streets is buzzing. Dirty says, I think the Hawks will fall below Dallas. Barely remember their last win. Let me bring that graphic up again because I've got to see how close the Hawks are. Yeah, the Hawks are on 37 wins as well. So yeah, they're actually not too far out of the equation. So that's a great point, Dirty. They're on the 38 losses though, so they've got one less loss than Dallas. But obviously with tonight, they are facing a serious challenge from the Cleveland Cavaliers now, pulled within 3. So 109, 112 with 3 to play in the fourth. You've got Atlanta now possibly going down and picking up another L. So let's watch that, ladies and gents. That'll be good result for the New York Knicks tank, Mavs tank scenario. Yeah, facing these Knicks on a back-to-back, like Shah says, could they be extra tired? I think the Heat know that they got to bring it. They just got to bring it tomorrow night, like the New York Knicks. Got to bring it. That would create a 3.5 game separation with 5 to play, 3.5 game cushion on the guaranteed playoff spot. So let's get it. Salute Core Mega. Philip says, I hope the Hawks win right now. So you're hoping for that Hawks win? It's interesting. I think we want the Hawks to lose if you're wanting to keep that Dallas pick. But yeah, at this point, it's very, very confusing. Kyle Lowry's also out. That could help the Heat. Maybe they need that extra body. I think they got some younger legs on the bench they could definitely use. But right now, it's in the Knicks' fate. It's in the Knicks' fate to take care of that business tomorrow. What's been key from last night's victory was the efficiency. We want to see that continue. RJ Barrett, 6 of 12 from the field. Julius Randle, 10 of 19 from the field. Quickley, 14 of 18 from the field. Hartenstein, 3 of 3. Josh Hart, 4 of 4. So, I mean, it's against the Houston Rockets, but it's just great heading into the playoffs that players are starting to feel some rhythm right now. A good question asked earlier in the chat by Philip, would you even rest Brunson tomorrow night? given the Heat have now lost tonight, and maybe you give Brunson an opportunity to avoid what's going to be a physical kind of matchup, a physical, brutal, bang you up kind of playoff preview. I think from back in the day, I think that's what tomorrow night is going to be like. And if there's a 2.5 game cushion, if Brunson isn't 100%, do you give him that extra day? I think it's risky. If Brunson's close to being ready or ready to go, I get him out there. The game is really, really, really important. Dirty says, yeah, Brunson did look fine. So in terms of those charges, falling back and falling back on his hands and all of that, I think that's what could be something that he maybe like just gives it a miss for a minute, you know. Let's just get to the playoffs healthy, you know. Because as much as I love me some Emmanuel Quickley, ladies and gentlemen, like I don't know how many times he's going to be dropping 40 on people. Like, let's keep it real, you know. As sweet as it is, as nice it's been, been happening, we can't rely on that happening all the time. You know, there's going to be games in the playoffs where they're going to be able to shut down Emmanuel Quickley. So I'm not under any illusion that Emmanuel Quickley is Jalen Brunson at this point. I think to me, there's always been a difference. I think Quickley is just that young guy who's rising, and he's rising fast. But at the same time, you're going to have little hiccups, from a young player growing right now. And Jalen Brunson is battle tested. He's been to the Western Conference Finals. He's seen the best of the best. He's seen all different looks. He's seen traps, double teams. He knows what he's got to do to help the New York Knicks win tomorrow night and in the playoffs, especially when he's getting trapped. I really trust Brunson's ability to get the ball moving quickly, no pun intended, when the trap comes, because that's what's going to happen. I think there's going to be times in a playoff game where he's absolutely murdering them in the paint. He's getting that floater game on point. He's picking teammates apart. He's hitting step backs. He's hitting deep shots, and the other coach is just going to say, you know what, it's time to just get the ball out of Brunson's hand and see let somebody else beat us. Yeah, I'm talking Cavs. I want Cavs to lose tonight. They are the enemy, clear in sight. Yep, great thinking. Definitely, we got to get in that mindset that it's looking like it's a Knicks Cavs series, and that matchup, creates enemy territory. It's super close, 111, 112, with 2 minutes and 27 to play in the fourth. We'll keep everyone checked up on that. The Heat went down 92 to 106 to the Raps. We have New Orleans playing later, the Golden State Warriors, so that's going to be good for the Knicks Mavs tank situation. If New Orleans can pick up their 38th loss, that opens that situation up even more for the Dallas pick to convey. And of course, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder playing the Charlotte Hornets right now. They're only up 6 to start the fourth. So plenty of action, tonight, as there was last night with Emmanuel Quickley. Let me ask you, chat, everyone out here, what was the most impressive thing from Quickley from last night? Which is not an easy question because there was so much to look forward to. The getting to the line. I mean, Quickley's always been excellent at drawing fouls. He got to the line 9 times, hit 7 of them. I think his quick step now, his dribble penetration is definitely a big weapon for Quickley. Getting to the line is always going to be there, but he was getting into the paint with the speed of lightning, and he was getting past his man, blowing by. He's such a sneaky, quick first step. I love the 9 assists. That was excellent as well. Maybe my favorite though, 1 turnover. You know, to put up 40 in the starting unit, stepping in, filling up the stat sheet, 9 assists, all of that. But 1 turnover, I think that's probably the biggest growth, biggest sign of Quickley's growth, you know, in his game. Plus 18, just 3 personal fouls as well. So he really, really is a legit defender now. There's no doubt about it, because, you know, previously he would have ended up with maybe 4 or 5 fouls. Now he's defending elite, but not picking up the fouls. That's what tells you whether a player is an excellent defender or not. To play solid defense in this age, but not pick up the extra fouls, is going to be big for that, and we salute. I thought we were finally free of sweating a million results during tanking, and then the Mavs had to crap the bed. Yeah. I think I spoke too soon also. It was only just like a week ago I said, you know, it's very likely the Knicks keep the pick. It's not going to happen. But here we are. Obviously the Mavs losing back-to-back games to the Hornets was a part of that. It made that happen, man. Nick Yak's in the house. With the Wiz look great. If we clinch before playing the Wizards, we should let them win. Maybe try grabbing another dub and grab another first. It's going to be an uphill climb, but I think we'll get that Wizards pick eventually. Maybe it's better that they are spaced apart. I don't know, you know, maybe the Knicks intend to trade these picks as well, I think, to make an upgrade. That's going to be, you know, interesting. But I would love us to keep this Dallas pick, you know, and just give us more options in the off season. We are going to have to sweat it all the way to the lottery though too. Like, let's not forget, even if it ends up in 11, 12, 13, we know on the lottery night, like, anything can happen. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. Nick Yak says the 9 assists from Emmanuel was very, very surprising. Yeah, I think also dudes were hitting shots. Nick Yak. Randle was efficient. Barrett was efficient. Grimes was efficient. Guys were efficient, so easier to get you assists as well when guys are hitting shots. But credit again to Emmanuel. 9 assists is no joke. It would have been great to see him get the 10th assist, but he's ready now. Playoffs, stepping in, starting off the bench. He's arrived now. This is really what third year growth looks like. You know, a lot of stars, great elite players in the league step up in their third year, and it's exactly what Quickley's doing right now. Yep. With that said, let's read out Quentin Grimes' big stat line. He was 4 of 9 from deep, was the most impressive, but the 9 rebounds and the 6 assists, 2 steals, just 2 fouls and a turnover, plus 13, 14 points in 38 minutes was big from Quentin Grimes. You know, to me, I don't even really care about Grimes' offense so much. He's proven he could help us win when he locks down, and he plays amazing defense. The 2 steals, excellent. A lot of them were momentum stoppers as well. You know, I don't know if I've seen a guy better in the league to stop a transition bucket than Quentin Grimes. Like, put him on a 2-on-1 situation, Quentin Grimes can hold his own usually and get a steal out of it, prevent a bucket, get a steal, all of that. Dre Dragon says salute. He might be more sure of himself when he starts as well. You know, I think that's that confidence meter that's just going up and up. It's like on a number 9, number 10, and I think he loves playing at MSG. That's the big thing. He loves playing at the Mecca, but he also, would feel more comfortable. I think there's no doubt about it. When you start, Deras, Salute. Um, yeah, Philip says about this pick, right? How do we know we aren't going to use it? It's getting traded, sad to say. It's looking likely. I think this team's winning, so I don't know if Tibbs, values a specific prospect. There might be a prospect in this draft that he really loves, so that he thinks might be able to help us win now. Maybe a Taylor Hendricks, maybe a Bryce, maybe a Whitehead, maybe a guy like Chris Murray. There are some guys that can come in and contribute, but how much is Tom Thibodeau going to care about that? I don't think he's going to care too much about these prospects. I think he's trying to win, trying to get us competing now. Yeah, a superstar trade is all the easier with pick 11. Definitely, yeah. That's a big scenario in this, in terms of flexibility, what this gives us. Yeah. I need the Dallas to lose the play-in, and we are money. Yeah, it's just great seeing Dallas capitulate as well. It really is. Jerry, Salute. IQ's not afraid of the moment. He's ready for this playoff push. Yeah, that's the most pleasing thing about it now. Yeah, in his rookie season, he had playoff experience. Now in his third year, he's getting starting experience, and he's ready now to perform. He's getting fouls, he's hitting shots, getting assists, defending like a elite perimeter guy. A++ home run right now. Thank you, CBS, for doing reverse psychology. The D+ really meant that they thought it was an A+. It was just reverse psychology. I think they doubted the Quentin Grimes selection also. Remember the Quentin Grimes selection? I think people thought, what were we doing, with that as well. But yeah, looking at this road ahead now that the Heat have lost, so it's 6 to play. We have a chance to go 3.5 games over 3.5 games ahead of the Heat, with the Cavs, then the Wizards, 2 against the Pacers, which are going to be tanking. The chat made it clear tonight. These Pacers are going to be tanking. And then the Pels, who we don't know what that situation is going to be like. That's in New Orleans, that game. Zion might be back by then, maybe not. But Brandon Ingram's back playing. So, I could expect the Knicks to maybe lose 2. I'm going to say maybe we lose 2 more at the most, and we pick up 4 more wins, and we finish this season with 47 wins. We beat the Heat, beat the Wizards, and beat both of the Pacers. And 47, here we go. 5th spot locked up. How does that make you sound? How does that make you feel? How does that sound? Nick Yak says, Dallas pick and Washington pick. Pops, we get 12 and the 16th pick. That's this season. The Wizards obviously would have work to do. In terms of the standings, let me see where the Wizards sit, how far back. The Wizards are in the 11th spot. They are just 2.5 back from the Bulls for that final play-in spot. So that's not going to be easy. It could happen, but of course we do get it next year as well. So, but I won't lie, 2 picks in this year's draft. I think next year's draft is pretty weak from what I'm hearing. So I think for the Wizards to make that ground up is going to be tough. But for us to maybe have extra picks to play with would be great. Trade negotiations, yep. Rockets May 4th was going hard at Mitch. Absolutely. Mitch's block party last night. We've got to shout that out. 3 blocks and 6 rebounds in just 20 minutes. Was just 1 of 1 from the field, but his aggression defensively to want to not just block the ball, but savagely block it. Those were savage intentions from Mitch to go up there because they were challenging. They were trying to get that highlight play. But Mitchell Robinson, what can you say? Like, you know, for all the issues recently and, you know, his lack of game offensively or lack of production offensively, defensively, when he's doing that, he's elite. And I think he's deserving of an all-defensive team this year. Yep, stepping up, standing up. And, you know, it's going to be nice to see him against Mobley and Allen. That's going to be a fun matchup. Darius Garland, Spider Mitchell. Those guys are not going to want to live in the paint with Hartenstein and Mitch, you know, lurking. Yeah, look, the Dallas thing, David, if the Mavs need their picks, they should stop procrastinating and trade Luka. You know, they made a lot of bad moves. I've been talking to some Dallas people, you know, extending Tim Hardaway. We know what Tim Hardaway is. You know, the Knicks traded him twice. He had a nice season. They extended him. That was risky. Then trading away Dinwiddie and trading away Finney Smith, 2 guys who give you production, 2 extra bodies, and one of them is a wing defender that they need badly. To just bring in another guard scorer like Kyrie, who hasn't been the same Kyrie with Brooklyn, it's absolutely backfired. It's been so bad that I almost feel pity for any Dallas fan, because it was a risky move, you know, trying to trade for Kyrie. You know, there were for so many elements. The fact that it was such a short sample size for 25 games was risky enough as it is. But for them to make that move, thinking that they're going to extend him as well, give up assets, boy, that's risky, man. Yeah, seemed like they had a bet who could bang on Mitch, 100%. Yeah, well, we know who came out the better of that situation. That was the man with 3 blocks. Yeah, the Knicks are going to have options if this pick ends up with us. With the 11th pick, it might end up netting us a few extra late lotto picks. You were pissed at the time, but the results could be great. Yeah, I think someone mentioned was it the Nets? The Nets have 2 late lottery picks, potentially. So, or there are other teams that the Knicks could be partners with and get that thing going. Yeah. Yeah, the Houston Rockets, I mean, they're just trying to throw mud against the wall to see what sticks. But that's what rebuilding looks like, ladies and gentlemen. It's not pretty. Certainly you need a solid foundation in terms of the coaching staff, you know, older heads. But with the results tonight, the Atlanta Hawks hold off the Cleveland Cavaliers 120-118. So they hold them at bay. So Cleveland's bid to maybe catch Philly for that 3rd spot is maybe all but sailed now. And they might be set on the 4th spot and casting their eyes on the New York Knicks. I tell you what, it's going to be interesting to see what the approach is going to be like when Cleveland and New York face each other after the Heat game. You know, is that a game where you would sit out Jalen Brunson? You know what? I wouldn't be mad at it. If you play Brunson for the Heat game, you lock up that 3.5 game lead on the Heat, and then you know you're not going to catch Cleveland anyway. Maybe you rest Jalen Brunson in that final game against Cleveland. You don't give them any opportunity to play against him and against the full strength Knicks, and then you prepare. You start to prepare straight away for that first round series right there as well. That could be some sneaky maneuvering. With that said, I won't be surprised if Cleveland rests somebody. They know they're not going to catch the third spot, perhaps, and they know they're not going to fall down to the fourth spot. To the fifth spot. So maybe they start to rest somebody also. Luka's a great offensive talent, but Luka Doncic's defense, like, to need other guys around you is not that easy to complement your skill sets, right? And Dallas have failed at that. They don't need another gunner like Tim Hardaway Jr. You already got Luka, who's the ultimate gunner. Why do you need Tim Hardaway? They should have been trying to pick up Matisse Thybulle and all of these wing defenders that were available for peanuts. In the buyout market, the trade market, and all of that stuff right now. Jay Boogie in the house, salute. Down go Cleveland, down go Miami, shout out to the World Wide West, the McDonald's All-American game, all eyes on us. Salute, 3 capital S's for the one, the only, Jay Boogie, the closer, up in here, dropping jewels. And Jay Boogie's getting ready for the playoffs as well. We'll catch up. We'll talk to Jay Boogie soon. Many blessings, peace, all of that stuff. And now we've got to beat the Heat. That's the biggest game of the regular season that remains. Like I said, that Cleveland one could just be could be basically just a exhibition, a glorified exhibition one. Now, in terms of who do we court in the future? Luka, Jalen Brown. I mean, I like Jalen Brown's fit with this team. Knicks 26 champs. Definitely interesting. I would say buzzing, not just interesting. Now, he made some quotes today again about his feelings towards, playing his comfort level in Boston. He doesn't feel like home. We all been there. We all been in a situation that, maybe you work in there, you can get by for a year or two, but it just doesn't feel like home. Jalen Brown could be looking for a new home, or for a permanent home with that situation. Also, Joel Embiid, killer dog, salute. Whatever happens in Philly this year is going to be huge. It's going to be key right now. And I think the best thing for the Knicks is stability. I hope everything runs well for this, not just for the sake of it, but for the playoffs with Randle, Brunson, and everything to just be cordial, everything to be perfect from here on out. And that's going to be a great marketing campaign for other teams' stars, to want to come to the Knicks. In terms of the Zach LaVines, Trae Youngs, Damian Lillards as well, I'm not interested in them as well. I think Damian Lillard would be box office offensively, but I don't think he fits our timeline. Trae Young, we have Jalen Brunson. I don't see any need. Zach LaVine would be more interesting to me, but defensively they worry me as well. I think the Knicks could be another quality bench piece and another starting wing defender away from really getting into that top 2 teams in the East. So we may not necessarily need a Zach LaVine or Karl Anthony Towns, an OG Anunoby and another young player off our bench, another star off the bench could be enough, to get this thing popping right now. Jay Boog also chimes in again, says Streets is buzzing. All eyes on us video was dropping tomorrow. Stay tuned right now. Tune in with CT. Got the streets buzzing. Smashing that like button. Let's go, Jay Boogie. Yep, got more news for us. I can't wait for the All Eyes on Us video, ready for that to drop right in time for the playoffs. J Boogie's timing's impeccable up in the streets. And the chat's been popping, buzzing all night as we're ready for this playoff push and are ready to solidify the 5th spot with the Heat losing tonight. There's no way we're losing that 5th spot to the Heat or the Brooklyn Nets, New Jersey Nets right now, because those are could be two of our biggest rivals in the league. Philip says, I still like Ice Tray, but him and Brunson in the backcourt would be nightmare personified. Yeah, agree. Knicks 26 champ says, I wouldn't want Trey or Cat, to be honest. Yeah, I agree with you. Cat, I'd be more open to. Levine probably at the top. Cat second out of those guys. Dame, Trey, those guys. Again, I don't think we maybe need to go that all in. We maybe just need to wait a little bit more to see if Jalen Brown, a Joel Embiid becomes available. Those are the difference makers that's going to push us over the top. Also, let's see what happens with Toronto. You know, they're making a late push. Toronto won tonight. Toronto, where do they sit in terms of the standings? They're up in 8th right now. They're only 2 games back of the Heat for 7. So Toronto could cause some headaches in the playing-in playoffs. We don't know, but they are looking open, like wanting to retool and blow things up a little. Yep. We've got Heat tomorrow ×2. We've got All Eyes on Us video from J Boogie and the Miami Heat. Yep. 2 of our best team players and defenders, Grimes and McBride, says May 4th. They've got to keep them. I think they really like McBride. We've heard talks that they would be very open to keeping McBride long term, keeping him out of trade talk. I respect that. I like Grimes as well. We need to keep him out of a trade outside of, let's say it's for Joel Embiid, Let's say Jalen Brown becomes available. I think the other team, it's fair the other team is going to ask for those guys, to get a superstar, you got to give up somebody. Draft picks won't be enough. But the more young players we have that pop is going to be beautiful. And like Dirty said tonight, if the Knicks do end up with that 11th spot and we get to keep that Mavericks pick, that's going to be a nice weapon to use in any of these future moves, kinds of thing. And it's also going to be a situation where it gives us that flexibility, in the summer to look at things. But another guy I really want to keep, Emmanuel Quickley, is there a player that's more born to be a New York Knick long term than Emmanuel Quickley? He's got the swagger, he's got the game now, he's got the defense, he's got the attitude, and 9 assists, 40 points. Look at that shot chart from last night. Just greens all over the place, but all over the court, deep on the elbow, getting a couple of those shots to go and ones in the paint. He had a few and ones. His ability to survey the floor now is getting better. I think sometimes when he comes off the bench, he comes out maybe a bit too erratic, I would use. That's his game, his 6 man. I think when Quickley is a starter, he comes out a bit more like settled down. He doesn't try to just fill it up immediately. I think he takes his time, especially when he's playing with a guy like Randle, who he knows can, and RJ, who he knows can get buckets also, and Grimes. But, typically when Quickley's not on his game, it's when the shot's not falling. He's just, shot selection's bad, and he's just trying to do too much. But the 9 assists, when he's starting, and he knows he could, take his time, use the talent on his team and find those teammates is great. And on the other shot chart with RJ Barrett, this is the other thing that pleased me, was limiting those deep balls. Just took 3 attempts, 1 of 3 from deep from Barrett. But look at all those shots in the restricted area. He was living in the restricted area, was RJ. That's the kind of shot chart that I want to see from him on the regular, with some mid-range sprinkled in. Because when RJ's on point and he's choosing the right shots, and he's calm, he's not forcing it, and he's living in the paint, and he's taking the 3 balls that come to him and not forcing it, is great as well. So yeah, 2 beautiful shot charts, from last night, and getting it going at MSG as well. Another big reason for to feel good about last night's win was to get another win at MSG. Heading into the playoffs, right? We need to start feeling more comfortable playing at home, and playing on our home floor, which is going to be big, in the playoffs. Also, I saw this earlier today. Killer, salute. Great point you made on the Kentucky guard situation with Tyrese Maxey, Fox, Quick, Booker, Monk, Johnson, Hero. Kentucky guards absolutely making a name in the league right now. That's hot. Quickley and Maxey, most recently, Hero. Like, there was a big argument, Maxey, the Knicks should have gone for him and missed out on Maxey. Now it's kind of like Quickley and Maxey. That conversation escalated with that. So that's a great point. Yeah, RJ's unstoppable when he can go quickly, hate the hesitate, and when he gets stripped. Yeah, 100% on point. I love that from RJ. Yeah, when he is quick and not indecisive, but also not biting off more than he can chew. Attacking the mismatch that's undersized, those kind of things. Playing percentages in his hands, but taking smart shots, better decisions, all of that stuff. With RJ's box score, another reason I liked that performance was 12 shots. Quentin Grimes is that other starting wing, and Grimes got 12 shots. So Barrett getting 12 shots, I don't mind that. I don't mind them sharing the load, because I'd rather an efficient RJ for 19 points than an RJ that gives you 30 points that's not efficient. People always point to the 30 points, or RJ gave us 30 points, but if it's not efficient, it doesn't always help the team as much. But 19 points on efficiency is great. If Quentin Grimes is also efficient, 4 of 9 from deep with 14 points. So, if those two have to learn to play alongside each other a lot more as well, because that's what the future could look like. Mayforth says, yeah, but RJ out there practicing all these things. We saw him doing them in videos in the off season. Yeah, he's improved on a lot of things with that situation. People ain't paying attention. It could be some things are subtle, very subtle, that a lot of people don't pick up on straight away. In terms of his, I would say, dips from really bad games to really good games, there's been less dips. There's been a bit more consistency in like average to decent games. I keep saying this too. People underrate the fact that Barrett's had to adjust to a new starting teammate, Jalen Brunson. Last year he had a lot more usage. Playing next to a guy like Jalen Brunson, who's the closer, who has the ball in his hands, it takes some time. Yep. He's shooting 52% in that time period. That's what we want. in terms of 13 shots or less in his last 6 games. Yep, see, that's good. That's good. 13 shots or less in his last 6 games, but he's shooting 52%, that's what we want. Yep. RJ behind the back is effortless. Now, yep. Yeah, stay tuned for more of these shot charts, and as RJ closes out this season, it's going to be a big finish to the season for that young man. But yeah, for Emmanuel Quickley, right? For Emmanuel Quickley's performance, he definitely, in my eyes, is the 6th man of the year. Now, I don't see Malcolm Brogdon coming in, and I know this ain't the definition of the 6th man, but for the ability to come in, and put up 40, whenever you're needed, is great. And he did it. And it's exactly the kind of player that he is now, and the player that we can expect. Knicks won the fast break points. They won the points in the paint. They won the turnovers. So it was a feel-good win, overall. And results went the Knicks' way tonight, which was beautiful to see as well. So we get ready to hit the music. We get ready to hit MSG tomorrow night against the Miami Heat to go 3.5 games up on the Heat, beat the Heat. It's going to be huge. I expect Jalen Brunson to be fit. I expect him to be ready. I expect him to play. Jimmy Butler rested tonight. It's going to be a big game in the standings, and I really think that the Knicks can win, will win, and then they'll win 4 out of the remaining 5 to get that 5th spot, lock that up right now. And with that said, I think health, chemistry, peaking at the right time, and health is going to be big. Charles, salute the chat. Buzzer, yep. Let's go, Buzzer. Appreciate you. May 4th, yep. Killer Dogs, yep. Let's go, Knicks. Salute. Thumbs up. See you tomorrow. Peace.